This first video is going to be on the addition of rational numbers. This begins on page 56 in your textbook, Adding Rational Numbers. Before we begin adding rational numbers, we need to talk about two properties, identity property and the inverse property. If you look on page 56, under adding rational numbers, you see the property, identity property. Identity property in addition is just that some number, n plus 0, will always equal that number. The inverse property, you might have known it as the property of opposites, states that a number, 5, plus the opposite of that number, the opposite of 5, will always equal 0. So a number plus the opposite of that number will always be 0. We're going to review the addition of integers. Look at example 1 with me. Example 1 starts with 2 plus 6. 2 plus 6 we know is 8. Then it begins with 2 plus negative 6. Do not let the parentheses confuse you. It is just there to signify that 6 is negative. They show you a number line. Here is 2. I'm going to add to that negative 6. That means I need to hop to the left 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at negative 4. So 2 plus negative 6 equals negative 4. Let's do a few quick check problems together. Negative 6 plus 4 equals, well, if I'm in borrowed $6 and I pay someone back $4, I still owe them, so that's negative $2. The same is true for 4 plus negative 6. Four plus negative 6 will also be negative 2. It's just the commutative property here. Negative 3 plus negative 8. You owe someone $3, you borrow $8 more, you're still owing them money, and now you owe them $11. 9 plus negative 3. You have $9, you spend 3, you still have $6, so positive 6. As we observe some of these answers, what are some observations you see? What happens when the signs are the same? And what happens when the signs are different? When the signs are the same, we add and keep the sign. When the signs are different, we subtract and keep the sign of the, quote, larger. It's not really sometimes the larger, it's the larger absolute value. Keep the sign of the larger number. Work through example 3 with me. Example 3 is on page 58. A football team gained 2 yards. Gaining 2 yards is positive 2. And then lost 7 yards. So we're going to add to that a loss, which means negative 7 yards. What is the result of this? Well, my signs are different. I have a positive 2 and I have a negative 7. Since the signs are different, I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5, and I'm going to keep the sign of the larger number. Which is larger, 2 or 7? 7 is larger. 7 was negative, so my sum is negative 5. Let's look at quick check number 3. It's dealing with temperature. The temperature falls 15 degrees. A falling temperature would be negative 15. The temperature rises 18 degrees plus 18. Again, signs are different. Subtract. 15 minus 18 is 3. Which was larger, 15 or 18? 18, so 3 is positive. A positive 3 degrees. This label would be yards. That is a quick review of adding integers. The last thing we have to do is practice evaluating expressions. If you look at example 4, it will show you. Then I want you to try on page 60, number 28 and number 32. That's the end of the adding rational numbers video.